What's up, guys? Welcome to Get Heavy Podcast. We're joining you on another beautiful night. Oh, and here comes John, fresh out of his surgery. Look at zip there.
I got my brake. Got my brake on my scooter. And then it goes from scooter to footrest.
Beautiful.
One seat.
You got this surgery shit down, bro.
I could be handicapped forever, and I can.
I don't think you want
drive,
that.
I guess.
Did you dye your hair?
I mean, I dyed it a long time ago.
Oh, you did? Oh, it looks so luscious right now.
It's just long. Look how long it is.
I know, huh?
It's because I shaved. It's because I shaved. It looks.
That's probably what it is. Yeah.
Looks more.
Do I need to shave? What's up?
I don't. It's a whole thing of just midlife crises over here. Anyway, today on the podcast we got our buddy Justin, longtime friend, Justin Maranga, guitar player and Lord of Ancestors, let's call him, the band, incredible band from LA if you don't know about him. Also the founder of Dune Altar Records. He's been putting out some serious fucking tunes over the last couple years in LA, the LA area. So welcome, Justin. How are you?
I'm all right.
Yeah?
How are you guys?
We're doing okay, man. Obviously, we're
trucking along.
Tripled and beardless.
Yeah. It's like a whole different group of people. I don't even know you guys anymore.
Yeah. You have the longest beard in the group.
I know. How'd that happen?
For me, isn't that big of a
Quarantine is how it happened.
Yeah.
Because I've had a short beard for the last however many years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really?
for those of you who don't know, we've spent many days in vans together with Ancestors, and the Wrath went on tour.
I mean, the most infamous was the Volcano tour.
Yes.
When we took a weed volcano on tour.
Yep.
Up and down the West Coast.
And it was literally being smoked the entire time that we were on tour. Like, there was no moment that we were in the van that volcano was not running and that bag thing wasn't being passed around.
Yeah. We had a whole entire power source for that.
Yeah.
In the van.
Yeah. I remember we played
the volcano.
I remember we played in like Humboldt area.
Yeah.
And I went to go, I was losing my voice, and I went to go out to the van, and I opened up the door, and it was completely filled with smoke to the point where you couldn't see anything, and there was no one in there.
Yeah, that Humboldt show is always going to be in my memory, dude. Remember that homeless dude that
that the show?
The other thing I brought up.
The show when like a dude tried to help
yeah.
I want to say substances were involved.
He was trying to help us. Remember? He kept grabbing equipment and he was trying to get in for free on a $2 show. Remember the $2 cover?
I'm fairly certain
to get on the guest list, and we kept telling him, "Yeah, no problem, dude. Just grab this equipment." And he had him hauling equipment in for us. I think we had him watching the merch table at a certain point. But there was
he got into the show.
He did get in the show.
I think I took ecstasy that night too.
A lot of us did.
Oh, you guys both did.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
I played on ecstasy.
You did.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
You were being a fucking
weirdo. I remember I was pretty useless for the loadout.
Yeah.
I just remember being hands up in the air. I'm fucking doing my thing for the night.
No, so here's where it turned. I do remember this because what did we call him? I can't remember that dude's name. We were calling him.
I don't know, but we did have a name.
But this is like a 50-year-old man. You know what I mean? We're in our late 20s. You know
I think
what I mean?
I have pictures of this.
You might have, yeah. That'd be awesome. But I remember there was a point where he had gotten so drunk or messed up or whatever that he dropped one of the heads, kind of. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And that's when it flipped. And every one of us was like, what the fuck are you doing? And Scheimer specifically had a huge problem with him because he wouldn't get out of Scheimer's face. And I had to tell him, I said, listen, you got about 5 seconds, dude, because he's going to fuck you up. You know what I mean? Scheimer's going to get you, dude. And we had to and then we ended up having to kick him out of the van and the whole deal. I don't know if you guys remember all that, but
I don't remember all that. Because I don't remember. I remember being, because I didn't really know Scheimer that well until that tour. we had like bullshitted a little bit at shows, but like we weren't really friends until that tour.
That tour, yeah.
And like, so I was like, okay, we're going. Was a lot of dudes in one van, and this dude that I don't really know that well, and like every time I've been around him, he's really intense, and like he's been drunk like most of the times I've been around him, or at least it seemed that way, and then he was like the most even-keeled dude on that tour.
Oh,
like,
for sure, dude.
Everyone was falling apart, and Scheimer's just like completely held that thing together.
Yep, he's the glue, man. That's the reason Scheimer made a career out of that shit, dude.
Yeah,
true.
Yeah.
True.
I learned it with you guys and perfected it with other bands. I got paid by other bands, should I say?
Right.
Yeah, we
no
paid.
I perfected it. I faked it. I remember like my first big tour I did with Strung Out. Like I remember they were like, "Yo, you want to come tour manage?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, sure." I kind of know what to do. And then like literally they were telling me what they wanted me to do, like driving to the first show in the van. I'm like, "Oh shit, okay, I got to do this. And I like, and that like I faked it really hard. Like I'd like keep track of money and everything, the whole kit and caboodle. So
yeah, but now you're a pro.
I learned it with you guys.
Yeah,
Well,
that was definitely a learning experience.
Like there's nothing worse than a guy going on tour that literally just parties.
Yeah.
Like
we
you're allowed to party. Like I never felt bad for partying because I was never getting paid. I wasn't trying to get paid. It wasn't my MO. You know what I mean? But I was always like, oh, cool, this or that. You know what I mean? But it's like you can't be the guy that just parties. Like there's nothing worse than the guy that just parties.
Yeah, we call that guy Chico.
Yeah. Oh, I remember that guy. Yeah, he was Mr. Party though.
Love
if there's a difference though, is either if you're Mr. Party or the guy that parties. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't spend a ton of time with him, but the times I did were fun. But
I found my pictures from that tour.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Can you see any of them?
Oh, dude, there are the pictures of you guys jumping in the river.
Oh yeah. Me and Craig have one of our most epic pictures. Actually, it's the last time Craig didn't have a beard.
Yeah, that's true. I have a mustache on there?
Oh yeah, you just have long hair.
Yeah, your beardless.
Yeah.
Your beard there.
Oh wow, yeah. Okay.
You can take this phone.
Yeah,
I don't think I have a picture of the homeless guy, but I have a picture of you guys that I'm fairly certain is from that same night.
Nice.
How do I wait? There's a way
go
for
to
me
the bottom. It says share screen.
Oh, here we go. Desktop, I guess.
Whatever.
Oh, it's dude. I don't know. I'm just gonna send this to you. It's
all
not
right.
weird.
We'll put it up. We'll put it up as the thumbnail for the.
Oh man.
Yeah, that tour was. I mean, dude, that tour was so fun, man. I mean, the excitement that was going on with you guys having
that was a fun tour.
Having the record out, and then the gear. Oh, the gear, dude.
Wait, so what year? This was 2010. So what? Yeah. That was. You guys was the first Wrath record out yet?
I think the EP or whatever it might have just come out.
Okay.
No, maybe. It might have been the oh, you know what? No. Yeah, it was the EP. It must have been the EP because I think that's how we met the artist that did what's Todd White did the artwork for the poster, and that's how I met him to do the artwork for the last album.
Oh, crazy. Okay.
Todd White. Remember that dude? That dude was shredded.
Yeah, Todd has a label now.
Does he?
Yeah. We did I just texted you a bunch of pictures. We did a split release. We split released the cassette for the Death Chant record.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, he has a label called King Volume. And he puts he's doing like heavy shit. It's great.
He did so much work for us on the art for that last Wrath record, dude. I mean, probably 500 hours. It's like, and then, TP paid him shit for it. I ended up throwing him extra money because I felt so bad, I was like, oh my God, man.
Yeah, he did a lot of cheap. Yeah, he did a lot of cheap shirts for us too. Mm-hmm. Like we had a lot of shirt designs out of that guy that were pretty rad.
Hey, so you've been doing a label lately? When did you decide? When did this whole thing get started up? When did your label get started up? What have you been doing?
2016 it started. Was kind of initially the idea was just to like release auxiliary ancestors and related stuff, you know, just like because we had all these ideas for like random EPs and stuff, and also Jason was doing solo stuff and I was writing some other stuff. So we talked about putting out some of that, but then my neighbor was in a thrash band, like crossover band in the late 80s, early 90s called Ignorance. And they just put out 2 demo tapes, you know, local shit.
Right.
And it was sick. And I was like, dude, I want to reissue this. No one knows about this. So I did like a perfect reissue of this demo tape. Like I took the artwork and I like scanned it in and cleaned it up and like basically tried to bring it back to brand new.
Right.
And it was pretty rad and people dug it and it sold out pretty quickly. And I was like, this is fun.
What kind of run did you do with that? How many did you press and what did you put it on? What did you press?
I did just cassettes. And I did I think like 50 or 100. I was just, you know, like something.
It's cool. It's cool this day and age. We live in a time when like we can literally get old backyard bands, like old obscure backyard bands that were doing something at a time and give it life. And it'll actually, there's enough people to warrant putting something together.
Yeah. You know, I was yesterday I was doing kind of a dig on Discogs day, just like be checking out other bands by people who were in other bands and, you know, the nerd out dig session.
Well, it's like the equivalent of you looking at what T-shirt the guy was wearing in the band photo of your old LP or tape.
Exactly, or the thank you.
That's what you do on Discogs now.
Yeah, or looking in the thank yous to see
members of. You're like, oh, really?
Yeah. So what other band? And I've learned a lot from doing that.
Yeah.
But like, what were we talking about? That just led me.
We were just talking about just like kind of like what is like basically how the label gets started. We're kind of talking about the label starting and about how we could put stuff out for bands that are unheard of.
So I keep, you know, whenever there's something I want to check out, I'll just like screenshot it on my phone or keep a list. And like I had a pretty long running list of things that I wanted to check out, and I kept seeing these reissues of like some old like punk or metal shit, but that I wasn't familiar with, like bands like Medusa and shit.
Yeah.
I was like, what is this label that's doing these reissues? They kind of these like obscure ass things, and are they as obscure as I feel like they are? And I looked it up, and it's like they're doing these like sick ass reissues of like demos, you know?
Yeah.
Or like 7 inches that were, you know, had an original run of like 300, you know?
Yeah.
And they're doing a really nice job of it. And none of the music honestly like blew me away, but like there is so much stuff that is still like untapped and, you know, could have been just like local, like totally local.
Right. And had a scene back then and people knew about it, but then 30 years later, you know what I mean?
No one knows, no one cares. Like, you know, no one remembers them except for, you know, local kids, I assume, even that. And, but like, you know, I had all these flyers and stuff that he had saved. So like I scanned all his flyers in and, you know, now it's all at least like documented, which I thought was fun.
Yeah. In the end, it's just cool to document everything. You know what I mean? Even go back, just give something that didn't have its proper day.
Right. Give it a chance at least.
Give it like I said, 100 cassettes. You know, nowadays you can do 307 inches, 100 cassettes. You know.
Yeah, man.
They do everything digital.
Well, I mean, the world is too fucking big at this point, and like, cool. If we can get out to the rest of the world, then that's great. But like, I'm more focused on like trying to make bands at least popular here, you know, like at least turn people onto it here, because I mean, we all know that this is where it fucking starts anyway, but, but nonetheless, like I think it's important to like try and showcase bands in a way that like where you're actually going to see the result. It's kind of like local politics, you know?
A little bit,
it's like
yeah.
you actually you can see the results of voting in voting in a local election.
Move just a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like, and if you can watch it happening and you actually like, it's actually in the scene that you have access to, like, man, that's great. Yeah. You can actually see the results in real time. And then, you know, if it spreads, we've got the internet, so let things spread on their own, but at least like make a point of trying to make things at least known in the city I live in.
Right. Yeah. I used to always be fascinated, like when I would meet like kids on tour that were like into like underground tape trading of bands from like South America and shit. And you'd hear like they'd, you know, you could be you'd be staying at someone's house, you know, and they'd for hours would be showing you like Brazilian bands and bands from Ethiopia and just weird shit. And you're like, how do you have this time to find this stuff? You know what I mean? And then it's like, but that was even before the internet was massive. And now it seems like it's so oversaturated that it's almost fucking harder to wade through to find shit at this point. Like it's harder and easier at the same time, but I don't look like I used to anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I don't find myself doing a deep dive anymore. I you know, I'll scroll through the new releases on Spotify, and Scheimer's pretty good at like Scheimer's really good for me. I just go, hey, what are you listening to? And he's always got something weird. You know, so I'm like, oh, cool. Yeah. I go from that, you know, but I don't find myself being like possessed to find music like that anymore. So I'm glad you are, because it's fucking not me, you know?
I mean, it's still like the thing that I can get, you know, kind of zen out on. Is just like, you know, I basically like spent an entire day yesterday. I decided to like not do anything else. Or maybe it was 2 days ago. Not do anything else and just kind of like search music all day. And honestly, the day just kind of flew by. But like,
well, it's nice too, man. What a nice break, you know?
It is.
Break from all the chaos going on and just listen to music, you know? I haven't had one of those days in 15 years, it feels like, you know?
Yeah, well, you also have a family.
Yeah, you know. They don't like fucking anything.
I still, like I said, when record stores were open, I still go to record store one day a week and just flip through the records, just to, even if I don't buy anything, just to go and just.
Man, I can't
absorb
emotions. Flip
I can't do that. Like I can't go into a record store and not buy shit.
Yeah. If you go enough, it's easy. Because then you're like, it's already there. It'll be.
I've already seen all this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, nothing's all that exciting today.
Yeah. So how's the label been adjusting since this is all going on? I mean, I know that you're probably slowed down, I would assume. You know what I mean? Well, how does this? What have
or would you say you're going the exact same pace because it is a tape label?
Well, yeah.
No, it's not. It's not a tape label. I do vinyl too. I can only afford to do so many vinyl releases, and that's not very many. Like one a year right now, maybe. Mm-hmm. And then I just kind of do the tape thing because it's affordable and it's a way to continue to work with bands that I like and still be involved in some way, and you know, and also just kind of help with, you know, a small thing at least. It's not something they couldn't do on their own, but it's not like tapes are a moneymaker anyway.
No.
Well, you know, I mean, this year got off to a slow start. No, not really. I was working on a lot of stuff. It's just, it was all coming out like right around when this all.
And you had a ton of stuff on the deck, you know?
Yeah, there was the docket for June was pretty stacked, and I was pretty excited about that. But you know, something more important happened, and you have to step aside from time to time and let the world do its thing and not make it about you or promoting something that's in the end somewhat frivolous, you know? I mean, music is not frivolous. It's very important. Obviously, it's the most important thing in my life. But, you know.
It's important, but I've come to terms that like it's important in its the fact that we need music.
Right.
Everything that comes with all of it, like shows, for me it's concerts, live concerts. I still have yet to find the time when I'm like, look, I don't want it to be like this, but until shit gets safe, I have absolutely no will or desire to go stand in a room with 100 people.
Hell no. Hell no.
You know what I mean? And that's, like, and what, so.
Why, man? This is all not, none of this is real. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
No, I mean, obviously what I'm doing is different. And I mean, obviously I'm not going out and playing live. And I wouldn't want to. But I think, obviously we could still put out music during COVID.
Yeah.
We chose to kind of push some things back because I felt like I didn't want artists to get the shit end of the COVID thing on top of their lives already being thrown into chaos. Like I'm not a big label, so I don't usually get bands' second, third, or fourth record. Like I'm putting out people's first record.
Right.
You know what that means. Like you hold a lot in your hands with a band's first album, and I don't want to like just put it out and have the world be so focused on something else that this release just gets completely lost. And so we push things back to June, and then Black Lives Matter sort of took over the country in the best way possible. And it felt like at least a month of observing that and allowing that to be not only the dominant narrative, but like the only fucking narrative.
Right.
Is the
it's
least
important to have that's what we, I personally am dealing with that right now. We got a record coming out in a couple, a week now, but we talked about it. And it was like, dude, I don't see how we could do anything right now. It's like, first of all, it's like, hey guys, while black people are being stomped on and murdered, like, do you want to buy my record? Like, it's like, no, dude. Like, and I felt we felt it was kind of like, fuck, let's just push it out a little ways. And at a certain point, you have to release it. You know what I mean? And
also
people are stoked to get a break from this shit, dude. You know what I mean?
A, people are stoked to get a break, and B, at some point, with all due respect to all of the relevant social movements right now, we have to incorporate those into our life. And I'm not saying that we need to go back to business as usual, because business as usual was broken. But we need to go about our lives. And part of our lives is going back to work, going back to making our things that we make. I mean, none of us are getting rich off of this shit. So it's not like this is, and for me, it's not about me, like I've never tried to make the label about me. I've never tried to make, I don't want necessarily people to think Dune Altar Justin, like it's not about me. It's just a thing that I'm doing because I like music and I like to be involved,
I mean, it's almost no one starts a label to be a rock star for themselves, I mean, I can think of one guy that we maybe shared a label with, but you know what I mean? But,
100%.
Maybe one guy I've ever met.
100%.
But like, it's very rare. You know what I mean? If you start a label, it's usually a labor of love. You want
someday we're gonna have another podcast episode where we go back and just do it. We just talk about shit.
Exactly.
We just get real about some shit that we dealt with.
You know a lot more of the inside baseball than I do.
Yes, I do.
The little I knew, I was like, oh my God. That's fine. I'm grateful for everything we got. But
no, it was good. Great
it's
things
so
happened.
funny, man. But like I said, it's so.
Dude, I wish I could go back and review a lot of that.
Anyway, it's so inherently like you're not starting a label to. I mean, especially a small one, like to be a rock star, to make tons of money. It's because you want to help music. You want music. You know what I mean?
It's exciting. It's exciting to be a part of releases, even if you didn't. Like I don't know. It's I guess it's probably sort of what it feels like to be TMing and like feeling you're on the road with a band. Like you're a part of that thing. You're like involved in everything, and you care about the outcome.
Oh
so,
yeah.
Like,
Whenever I toured with bands, I always consider myself a touring member of the fucking band. Like you're fucking involved. Like the only thing I mean, like not in a fucking pompous way, like, oh, I'm in the fucking band.
Well, you're invested in the success.
Yeah, exactly. Like I fucking get them up on stage. The only thing I don't do is play.
Yeah.
The only thing the thing is, what I always said to all my bands was, my goal in life is that only thing you have to worry about is getting on stage and playing.
Right.
Like that's it. You know, I take care of everything else. Yeah. I take care of literally everything else, you know. You fucking handle that. But the best was when I toured with Off and Flag, Keith Morris would be up on stage and he'd always like when they'd start, he'd always be like, all right, so okay, how's it going, so here we are in Oakland, California. Okay, over there, right there, you got Stephen McDonald, Red Cross, Melvins. I mean, just all kinds of the McDonald brothers. You know and love them from LA. Over here, you got Dimitri. Dimitri's from Boston, Philadelphia, Burning Brides. You know. We got back there, we got Mario, you know, Earthless, the best band ever, amazing skateboarder. And then back there selling merch, we got John, and I'm Keith, and we're off. And I'd be like, fuck yeah.
That's right.
No. You know?
I was playing, hi Rosie.
Oh yeah.
Hi Rosie.
I was playing South by with Nighthorse.
One time per episode.
Yeah.
I was playing South by with Nighthorse years ago. And Keith came up after we played, or no, before we played.
I might have been there.
And I was like, I think it was probably 08 maybe, or 09, whatever. I don't know. Probably 09, like maybe the first one that we did. And he came up before we played and he was like, I love your band, man. And I was like, yeah, yours too, man.
Crazy.
And he was like, he just like chuckled and walked away. And I was like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
I met him a few times after that, but like I had never met him. I was just like, fucking Keith Morris just came up and told me he was a band.
Keith's funny, man. My favorite stories of Keith are whenever we went to go eat. Like I just have like some of the best Keith eating stories. Like one I'll tell us one other thing. But we were in Salt Lake City. We went to go get dinner before the show. And like we all go to sit down and eat. And, you know, obviously a couple people were like recognize Keith. We're all sitting at the table, getting ready to order our food. And somebody comes up like, hey, here's this something, like some meal. Here's some meal that was misordered, but it's free. Like, does anybody want it? And it's something that Keith totally eats. And Keith just throws down his menu, goes, yes, right here. Bam, and it comes down. And it's like a sandwich with a bunch of French fries, right? And we're all starving. And fucking all of us go, raw, and we grab for the French fries. And he goes, no, you do not grab another man's French fries off his plate. And just fucking like loses it a little bit. And I'm just like, whoo, Keith, the blood sugar's a little low. We got to get that shit in there.
Well, not only that, imagine being in Black Flag in the 80s and then every single ounce of food that came into place was probably fucking.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it's
fighting for every ounce of it.
PTSD like a motherfucker, you know?
Yeah, he's eating like a scavenger dog, you know what I mean? Most of his life.
I'm sure Rollins ate a fair share once he was in, too.
Yeah, I bet, dude.
Yeah.
That's a trip, dude.
So what's up with you? What's up with Ancestors? Are you guys recording? Are you guys a band? Are you guys a thing? What is it? Come on, let's get into the
Thanks, Greg. Ancestors. Okay, so Dune Altar. I'm putting out a compilation on Dune Altar. It's been like 2 years in the works. It's tribute to the 80s post-punk band The Sound.
Okay.
Their singer committed suicide in 1999. He had major depression and schizoaffective disorder. And mental health has been a pretty important issue to me. So I wanted to kind of gear part of Dune Altar toward doing benefit projects, like on a yearly basis. And so I put together this compilation, and that would be the latest thing that Ancestors has done.
Right.
We recorded a track for that. I'm pretty stoked on how it came out. It's pretty sick. It's definitely like some shit the Ancestors has never done before. I mean, it goes in directions that are very Ancestors, but
I mean, you guys are always doing some shit that
I love it.
You know what I mean? It's like the orchestra type part of your band is like so out of my pay grade that I think back to the times where we would jam when we were young, you know, and you had all these, you would tell me these grand ideas and I'd go, the fuck are you talking about? You know what I mean? And then now, now I really realize, like, you actually had a plan the whole time.
I had ideas for sure.
Yeah, totally,
I mean, I definitely can't discount the input of the other dudes, especially on the last record. I mean, really, like Daniel, it being Daniel's first record with us. No, never would have had Daniel in the band if it wasn't for you.
Yeah,
because you're the one who recommended
it. Dude, man. Incredible drummer. I mean,
incredible drummer, incredible dude. Like one of my favorite people in the world, and you know, and he was in the band for 6 years before we put out a record with him.
I know, yeah.
You know, but like working on that record with him, it was really cool. It was that was a great writing experience, and playing. I look forward to the next time I get to play with him.
Sure, man. I mean, as being, you know, kids ripping off ISIS riffs, you know what I mean? Like back in the day, it was like, you've come a long way, bud. You know, like directing violins and cellos and orchestras, and I mean, like, dude, there's no way, man.
A lot of that is either Jason or we put a lot when we bring in people to play. We usually, as we did with you, we usually kind of send them out and let them do what they do. We try not to give too much direction. I think if we're bringing you in to do something, we have a pretty firm idea that we're bringing you in to a part that is that is exactly, if you do what you do, it's gonna be fucking rad, you know.
No, dude, I was so thankful to be a part of that, dude. That was awesome.
Oh, dude, we were thankful. None of us could have done that part, and like we were like, should we just make it instrumental? And then you came in and fucking slayed it.
Yeah, well, if there's one thing I actually have talent for, it's screaming. It's fucking it's being loud. Big surprise, right? You know? Loud volume.
But yeah, the compilation comes out on the 17th of July, I believe.
Are you physical releases, digital?
Right now it's just digital. Because it's a benefit thing, I didn't want to have to like recoup a bunch of money.
You don't want to have big overhead.
And I didn't want to like, I don't have the money to spend on it myself without recouping. And I don't want to spend a bunch of time recouping when there's money that could be going to Painted Brain, which is the nonprofit that we're working with. But several people, it's on pre-order right now, and several people have reached out and been like, can you at least make CDs?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure that out. I just have to find the money to do it. But like,
the coolest thing about Ancestors, dude, is that you guys have naturally always moved at slow. You know what I mean? I think it's a lot of it is because of the sheer massive scope of the band, you know what I mean, by the time the records come out and stuff. But I wouldn't be surprised if it takes you 10 years to do another record, and people would still be excited, you know what I mean? It's kind of cool that the landscape has changed enough to where you can take 5-10 years and do something. I mean,
anybody that listens to Ancestors and demands anything to go fast.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm not saying that about work ethic or anything like that. Just fucking, it's a fucking process. You know what I mean?
You know, It's also like a lot of it. I was in school, like for the vast majority of like ancestors, like the busy years, I was in school that whole time. And and then it was like trying to figure out my shit. And then, you know how it is. It's not easy to just drop shit and go on tour, and making records is expensive. And if you're us, it's time consuming.
Right.
I mean, it took.
Well, and then it's like you have to get shit or get off the pot. You got to be not gone 9 months out of the year. You know what I mean? If you really want to.
Never.
And it's just not feasible for a lot of people. It wasn't feasible for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, we were
kids or family or whatever. People can't. Some people can't do that. It's just not
a lot. Well, that's the thing is fucking. I mean, obviously, no one's doing it right now, but generally, my impression. And John, maybe you can tell me I'm wrong, but like. It doesn't seem like people are doing the amount of touring that they used to.
Well, I mean, obviously in COVID, no. But before COVID, touring was at a fucking all-time. I mean, I believe touring was at an all-time high.
Like on the road all year kind of shit?
It's the sheer amount of bands that are able to tour all the fucking time.
Who are these people?
But that's the thing though. It's like but there's people. You know what I mean? Like, there's
independently wealthy.
Do this shit just because we don't. Us personally wouldn't be caught dead or like waste our time going to that show.
But I've known bands that toured relentlessly, and dude, they're all burned.
Yeah, but the thing is, once that one band comes off tour, there's 10 bands to replace them.
Right.
That is true.
10 bands to replace them. And the thing is now, like, I don't know what the fuck it's gonna look like going back. Like, all these people booking tours for next year, and like, oh, this is gonna be this next year. Like, like everyone's. It's not even. I don't even look at it as like the whole like COVID thing. I look at it more as like what are venues gonna look like when they're there. Yeah. What is it going to look like when you go to that, when you're a band and go to that venue? Who are the people working there? Who are the people booking it? Who are all these fucking people? Because basically the infrastructure has been decimated.
Level.
The infrastructure is not even going to fucking be there anymore. It's going to have to be a full rebuild. Think about it.
Well, I mean, you see with Live Nation, I saw that article the other day asking fucking artists to take pay cuts and pay their own.
Pay for cancellation fees. Like, dude, like bands were fucking rolling hard. Like, bands had such the upper hand up until this fucking COVID shit.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Like there's bands where I am like, who the fuck pays you this much money to come fucking play?
Dude, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
we split that up a little bit.
You could fucking almost shit in a box and fucking get paid $5,000 to go play Coachella.
Right.
Like, you literally could. You could fucking you could fucking weasel it and fucking worm it.
Send me one of those boxes.
Yeah.
The box is a $2,000 deposit. Though.
Now, basically, what has happened? Like, the problem is that, like, with Live Nation is they've got everyone in their pocket, so everyone has to take what Live Nation's giving them because they canceled out all the small people. They canceled.
So while we're saying fuck the system, can we fuck all of the systems, please?
Why not? Yeah.
Well, of course.
I mean, I saw Sturgill Simpson posted a fucking.
Like I've always said. I can't wait for my kids to tear down my infrastructure because that means the next shit is coming.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
my kids are supposed to destroy what I fucking built.
Yeah, except we don't even get to build. We don't even get to build, man.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, part of my MO for
you know what I mean? Like, but, it's always been that the next generation's supposed to come along and do it better.
Well, part of my MO for Dune Altar has been that I want to, dude. I mean, you guys know, we're not kids anymore, and at what point do we inherit the system that we're playing it? And I don't even mean the government, because
Just
Those
just the whole
those
game.
motherfuckers are gonna hang out until they're dead of COVID. But I mean shows. I mean recording. I mean labels. I mean promotion. I mean
this
PR.
is our time. The fucked up thing is this is our time.
Right. Well, and you are working for one of the few people who has managed to break through the bullshit, and actually like is sort of our world.
Oh yeah,
and,
totally.
Like as opposed to the fucking old guard. Fuck the old guard.
Right.
You know what though? I mean, you think about it though. Like this is a massive ship, right? Music, the world. We inherited, the world of 80s hair metal and people being paid millions of dollars to act like assholes on stage, and punk rock shattered that fucking belief. And I think that we, over the last 20, 30 years, have really helped kind of steer that ship in a direction that's manageable. And yes, people come in and take advantage of it, but I don't think we can't say that we haven't done anything, like not we, but the general we, because we really have created, avenues to play and avenues to fucking continue touring and built up our own labels. And we, all these things, like we have contributed, but we inherited a shit system just like the government. You know what I mean? Just like we inherited a shit government from our parents who had fucking inherited a shit government from theirs, so on and so forth.
People who aren't going to walk away without a fight,
Yeah, I mean, I think we've all done our part. We've all put on shows. We've all lost money. We've all fucking done what we can to do to help bands and continue the scene. And whether it's punk or rock or metal or hip hop or whatever, I think that there are a lot of people that still have that mentality that they want to fucking better the scene. I think we've made a big dent, because you're starting to see shit surface in mainstream music that we were doing 5, 6 years ago, 7, 8 years, 10 years ago. You know what I mean? And it's like,
that's been happening. That's been happening this whole time. Like,
but we've continued it.
Shit's always gonna progress, and shit progresses more. I mean, look at the train of thought. I mean, look at just tattoo culture. Something as simple as tattoo culture.
Mm-hmm. And that has blown up since we were in high school.
There's a lot of the time when I don't even fucking want tattoos anymore.
No, me too.
Look at the fucking people where I'm like, motherfucker, this isn't why I got fucking tattoos. I don't want to be associated with you. I got tattoos to not be associated with fucks like you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
But what I realized too is that the future generations, like, after I went to that, me and you, John, we went to that horror. And what's that? That crazy hip hop show.
Horror and Ghostman.
Ghostman, dude. And that blew my fucking mind, dude. I realized that genre's dead. Music's fucking different now. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, to walk through a crowd of kids that are going to essentially a hip hop show that are covered in death metal long sleeves. Yeah. You know what I mean? It was, dude. I was like, what is and then to watch horror be heavier than any fucking metal band I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. I mean, heavier.
It's weird.
You're like, what?
So I saw horror and I was like, okay, this is like the new punk.
Right. That's exactly what I said. Yeah.
And I was like, I don't really like it, but
yeah.
But I think I think maybe like I'm just
not
too
for you, man.
old. It's not for me. I already had my punk. My punk.
Exactly.
My punk was neurosis,
You don't have to understand it. You don't have to like it or understand it for it to be just
what it is,
as if not more relevant than the shit we were in.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, dude.
You know what I mean? Like, it's almost like, you know what I mean? Like I would rather not like it, because that means the guard has changed.
Right. That means it's
someone
progressing.
has taken it over.
It really opened my eyes, man.
I mean, I've always looked at the show world as like I'm looking forward to the next guard. I'm looking forward to the next group of people that are going to come and come.
I thought I was until I heard what the next guard was. But like, I'm glad that it's come.
You're doing the get off my lawn mentality.
No, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like, where it's like, You're supposed to not like it.
No,
It's
and
not
I
true,
fully
guys.
acknowledge that.
You're supposed to not like it. If you fucking like it, if you like what the fucking coming thing is, and if you just fully understand and it's like this or that,
I guess
then
I didn't realize I was that old.
You're living in then we're all living in a weird fucking acceptance life.
No, I totally agree.
You know?
I used to be the guy who liked a little bit of everything, and now I don't find that to be the case. Like there's a lot of times where I'm just like, yeah, this is abrasive. I don't like this. And I'm like, and then I will put on fucking Discharge, and it's like, oh, that's not abrasive?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, but it's just a different kind of abrasive.
Like for me, I liked punk bands. I liked punk bands in the late 90s, and I didn't like punk bands from the 80s.
Right.
Okay.
There was a time, there's certain bands, you know what I mean? Like, and the thing is, that's fucking fine because that was my punk. That was my time. That was my scene. That was like you don't want to be the fucking like I don't want to be regurgitating shit forever.
No.
Punk and our mentality and our way of life and how we all fucking think and how we all believe the world should be is not regurgitating and not fucking living off of the 80s or the 90s. Mm-hmm. It's fucking someone creating something new. Nice. Whatever the fuck that is, whether or not we agree with it or disagree with it, as long as it's not racist, sexist, fascist, fucking completely fucking tearing something down. But if it's something that it's just like, oh my God, this is like loud and abrasive, like, you know what I mean? Like, good.
Well, so I was listening to a podcast. You know I mean?
Someone is doing something right. Because if you can piss off, if you can offend the punks and piss off the punks.
That's a good point.
And you have fucking
like that. If you can fuck with but it has to be in the right way.
Well, exactly.
Without all of that other bullshit. But so I was listening to another podcast, the Trap Set. Have you guys ever listened to that?
No.
It's this guy Joe Wong. He's a drummer. He's an LA dude, I think. But his podcast was all about interviewing drummers. He seems to kind of expanded because he interviewed like Greg Anderson and some other people. But there's some really cool interviews on there. I highly recommend checking out.
Who's Greg Anderson? Just so I know.
Southern Lord.
Okay.
And all that stuff. But yeah, so obviously not interviewing just drummers, but that's how it started. Anyway, he was talking to somebody, I can't remember who was discussing how, like, this exact thing, that, like, it's great and the progression is important, but, like, that, and he was trying to figure out where that disconnect was, and I think he pinpointed it for me too, which is younger people don't seem to give a fuck about melody anymore. And I know that we have played some loud melodyless music, but there's always been an element of melody still.
Right.
Your riffs, Craig, have always had melody, Ancestors is clearly melodic. I'm working on some D-beat shit that's like crusty and heavy, but there's always some melody going on, And now it's just kind of more about rhythm and texture. And I don't identify with that as much.
Right.
But like I respect the hustle and I respect the progression. I just I'm now an old guy, I guess, because I'm still really attracted to melodies.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is that from where we came from, everything was very streamlined as far as like when you look back at it. Like there was only this one avenue. There was only these certain avenues where you could find certain types of music. Now fucking music is just fucking. You type in fucking some random shit on Bandcamp and you're listening to something that only 3 people have listened to.
Well, especially like when you have kids, man. Like what you think is defining or whatever. I find I'm shocked at like my kids love music. But they listen to 99% of songs made on YouTube about video games or the same cosplay.
Last time we hung out, I was dude.
But then look at the views. some of these songs have over 1 billion fucking views. More than any major song that's ever going to come out. You know what I mean? And it's like, and it's not a bad song. And it's like a group of dudes that's doing it, but they have the same niche. But and then it's like literally multi-genre music. Like you'll have all sorts of genres in the same thing. Like, and it's not like your Limp Bizkit like kind of shit. It's like pretty fucking well produced. And
people like now we've hit a time in life. We've hit a time in life where literally all it is views and streams.
Right.
Like, we don't even discuss buying or downloading anything.
Not at all. Yeah.
For kids though. Like
that's the thing. It's fucking, you know, some like my kids watch shit. You know, they watch bullshit. Yeah. What does it mean?
But we're talking about kids and like at the same time we can't forget that like people our age still like stuff. You know? And like people older than us still like stuff.
Yeah, totally.
Like,
like
always,
you know, I've been in a band with a guy who's almost, or he might be 50. You know, Sam might be 50 years old. Should I say that on a podcast? You know, and he's like out there fucking doing it. You know, like he's
Sam's always been doing it.
Or he's managing culture abuse, and he's like out all the time, like doing shit.
But when I talk about
he's a market. We're all a market
kid thing. It's like it's more that it's helped me really like break down the walls of my divided lines of genre and what's proper and this and like, at a certain point, like if you sit there and look at what's happening, you're like, the future is gonna be fucking wild, dude.
Well,
it's crazy, you know.
Well, I think a lot of it
good. I mean, good, you know.
I think a lot of it has to do with the lack of context that the kids now have for what came before. Like, so they have the music, even kids that grew up in the 90s, like they have the music and they know what the music was, but they don't have the context. So it's like to them, like, oh, Third Eye Blind is legendary. You know, that was a band that was all over the radio when they were growing up.
Maybe,
so it's like, and it's like they don't have the context of Third Eye Blind was they were popular, but it's not their you know. Yeah. But like they don't have that, and so it's like Korn is cool for like kids who like heavy music and fucking, you know, like dude, there's like a lot of weird shit because they completely lack the context.
There's a whole generation of kids being raised where their parents love fucking Korn, you know what I mean, and Limp Bizkit, and they're like, my dad listens to that shit. That's cool, you know, that's heavy.
I mean, Korn came out when I was 14.
Yeah.
So like, fucking, that's 25. I could have a 25-year-old. You know, Korn's 25 years old. Jesus, right?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's just you know, it's so wild. Man.
I saw Korn in Montreal with some of the best catering I'd ever gotten on tour.
That's not bad. They know how
to
eat.
Heavy Montreal.
After a 4-day meth, she wants some food, you know.
It probably was a 4-day bender.
I bet, dude. I bet there was.
Actually,
not from you, but definitely from Korn.
So Fat Records tour. The Fat Records tour was on tour, and we played Heavy Montreal, which is a heavy metal Montreal festival, and it's located on an F1 track in Montreal.
Oh, really?
I'm driving our fucking tour wagon. We have a band wagon. It's like 7 a.m, and I'm trying to understand these directions in French. I end up lost, and I have to do a full lap on the fucking F1 track. Driving a fucking 65-foot rig and trailer.
That's awesome, dude.
So
I drove a NASCAR once.
I've done a lap at the F1 track in fucking Montreal.
Wait, you say you drove at NASCAR?
I drove a NASCAR.
No way, dude.
Yeah.
That's so white trash and awesome of you.
Yeah, I don't watch it. I've never.
Did it have a Confederate flag on it?
I fucking hope not. No.
It definitely didn't say Black Lives Matter. I'll tell you that.
No, it sure didn't. I wish it did. My dad had done this thing like somebody bought him a thing where he could go
drive one of those.
Yeah. Like around a track a few times with a pro. And he had so much fun that he was like, you need to come do this. And so he brought me, and it was pretty fun.
I mean, how could going fast not be fun, dude?
I went like 150 something miles an hour.
Yeah, dude, absolutely.
A circle.
It's not fun to watch, but I've gone 150 miles an hour, and it is fucking fun. You know what I mean?
Pretty fun to do.
Yeah, for sure, dude. That's wild, man. Yeah. Well, fuck, man. All right. So you got, dude. You know what? I will tell you. I told you this in private, but your Dune Altar Corona playlists have been really helping me out, dude, on my riding and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I have some tapes in a shopping cart online. I'm gonna buy some tapes, and I think I'm gonna do like a limited run of actual tapes of them.
Oh, cool, dude. Awesome. Yeah.
Like super limited, because that's a lot.
Yeah, who has time for that?
Yeah, but they were really fun to make. Like the listenership dropped off significantly after the first one, and then kept getting less.
Well, that shows you the attention span of the world, you know?
Yeah, so when I got to volume 6, I was like, okay, I'm tired. I'm feeling less inspired, and 16 people have listened to the last one. So
I did want to ask too, though. I mean, we've kind of talked about it. It's been a through theme in this Corona era, but how has it been for your creativity, or like, what are you doing? I know you got the label to keep you busy and shit, but like, I've felt so absolutely not creative, and I've been drained, and I haven't wanted to pick up a guitar at all or do anything. Like, have you done anything or changed anything to change it up, or?
Well, I mean, I was home for 3 months. I mean, I'm back to work right now, but I was home for 3 months, and I was pretty busy between Dune Altar, and I had just gotten a job working for a nonprofit, and so I'm doing that still, also in addition to my other job and the label. Yeah, man, it's actually like I had a pretty good surge where I wrote a lot. I used my creative energy to make a lot of those mixtapes. That was a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot to make a mixtape. I
mean, and I made one. I put out one a week for 6 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
They're expensive, dude. I mean, they're a long.
I listened to them. I listened to every one.
They were fun. I actually listened to one today. I'm stoked on how those turned out, and it was a fun exercise because I went through my entire record collection, pulling out records, every punk record or punk adjacent that I could pull from my collection, which was a lot, and like going through and looking at song titles to see if they fit the theme. Like, so the lyrics may not, but all the song titles are thematically fit COVID and a lot of the shit that's been going on. Yeah. But so I got to listen to a lot of shit that I wasn't like super familiar with, like songs I didn't really know, and like I found a lot of really cool shit that I didn't really know that was in my collection.
Well, that's what I found. Like, that's what I found. What I did is I got inspired. Like, I couldn't sit down and play guitar. I just didn't have it, dude. You know what I mean? Like, with that stuff, I have to have a deadline. Like, I have to have a goal or I have to work with a deadline. But what got me fired up was like, fuck, dude, we're not doing shit. Let's get the podcast up running again. You know what I mean? Because we did this 2 years ago, and just, with me and John, life got crazy, and kids and wives and jobs and all that, but it got me inspired to start at least like putting out content and trying to find a good way to, deal with the chaos, so we did the whole Corona thing for a while.
It feels good to like occupy your time with something creative, And
I don't know how people like just don't do anything. You know what I mean? I've talked to some people that are like, I haven't done shit for 3 months. It's like, dude, how?
I mean, think about like there's like a whole life of non-creative people that don't.
I know.
Whole life.
It's true. Don't even have a chance. You know what I mean? To be creative.
Yeah. I mean, not everybody. That's not everybody's outlet. And everybody's got an outlet of some kind. But like, for me, it's been like I've got a few new musical projects on the horizon. So I've had a lot of inspiration, and I started like a political band idea. I don't have a sound
style
yet.
or what?
No, like it's like D beat fast mostly.
Oh, okay.
And heavy, but like all pretty ugly. It's all pretty dissonant, but like I feel like still kind of catchy. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
Let
song.
Let me know if you need someone to scream.
There you go. Yeah.
Well, I do. So we're gonna be looking for a singer. You know, so I'll send you the
holler at your boy.
I'll send you the demos once we do them.
Send me the demos.
But me and a drummer that I've been jamming with are gonna track some demos soon. I'm pretty excited.
I can throw a bass riff in there if you need. You know,
dude. I might.
There you go. Send them over, bro. We'll hammer it out, dude.
You just become best friends.
I think we did.
There's so much room for activities. Yeah.
What are you drinking, Craig?
Oh, I'm drinking some Elijah Craig. Actually, I got a little
nice.
bit of that, dude.
Oh, it's the family thing. I got a bottle of Jameson that someone gave me for my birthday.
Japanese
man. Let's all give it a cheers, huh?
Hey, cheers, guys.
Cheers,
guys.
you
Good
guys.
to see you.
20 years of friendship at least.
This is cool. Yeah, I've been friends with Craig. I don't know how long I've known you, but
since we're at least 15, right? I mean,
yeah, it's got to be at least 20 years.
Back from before the Kung Fu Corner.
I probably met you in like my 10th or 11th grade year.
Would have been about that, yeah, man. It's wild. It's been a good ride, man. I've been happy to share the van with you and bands, and I mean, fuck, you helped us get on our first real major label, and I love it, dude. I'm stoked.
Dude, yes. This is what I'm saying. This is why I started Dune Altar.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, like we're
create a fucking community. You know,
right.
I want to build the community. Like,
it's not about money. It's about community. It's
well,
never about
that's
money.
what it's always been
Never
about.
about money. You know what I mean? That's what I try to fuck it like that. That's like when people like ask me about shit. Like, granted, I do cool shit for money, but like,
well, we have to live, but
it's never about money for me.
Right.
Like, my life is all about community. Fuck money.
Man.
Fuck 12.
Well, that's in the end. That's what punk brought us, right? That's supposed to be the answer. Is that's what punk brought us, is the community and hopefully some sort of moral compass, you know?
Yeah.
And like good taste in music, but like, you know, that's like that's the lesson I pulled out of punk is and everything that I've ever read or watched about the punk scenes of yore were about the community and everybody talking about how they leaned on each other. And that's what we've all done, you know, like, I mean, and I assume continue to do. It's been 20 fucking years, you know,
right? Yeah.
Like at this point,
I think we're stuck.
I'm not trying to make new friends. Like I do occasionally make new friends, but like, you know,
you don't really need them.
Like my entire life is because of punk rock. My entire fucking life.
Oh yeah, mine too, motherfucker. You know what I mean? I went to law school and now I'm not a lawyer and I make shit money.
Now you just give free advice to all your friends when
I give free law advice
and I
run a label to make money.
Just to give free advice out.
Fucking contract. Thank you.
Yeah, that's what punk rock did to me. Punk rock made me the free lawyer and
fucking what do they call that shit?
And the label that makes
pro bono,
the money.
Dog.
You're pro bono.
Yeah, I'm
pro bono.
You're fucking pro bono Maranga, dude.
I prefer pro bono. Okay.
Pro bono. Fuck yeah.
I hate that
guy. $10,000 hat.
Dude, you know my feelings.
$10,000 hat.
Right, dude.
Come on, Craig. Tell the story and then let's fucking wrap it.
Yeah. Do you don't know about my Bono hate, dude?
No.
I
mean, it doesn't shock me.
Dude, he was flying out to do one of those AIDS benefits in Africa, right? And he forgot his fancy little fucking Kangol hat. And he had it flown in a first-class seat from fucking wherever the fuck he lives to Africa. $10,000 fucking flight for a hat.
Because he wouldn't
save the fucking village. You know, he wouldn't go on stage without it.
Where did that story come from?
I could have made it up. I don't know. No, I read it years ago and it pissed me off. It's like my
everyone subscribe. Get
dude, I mean your Morrissey has really come to fruition because
Full circle, motherfucker.
Now he's not just a whiny bitch, but he's actually like a piece of shit.
Yeah, I know. I've been telling you guys for years. It feels so good to be right. There's a couple times like that it feels really good to be right, like as a father.
Craig betting on Morrissey being a piece of shit is a pretty fucking easy bet.
Yeah, it wasn't. That wasn't a hard bet.
Okay, come on.
A lot of people didn't do it though, did they?
Well, because we live in Ventura.
I'm just saying.
We live in Ventura where everyone's like fucking Morrissey.
I still back the Smiths,
I'm like,
but
yo,
I just have never been a Morrissey
will
fan.
not get on stage for $5 million with Morrissey. There's a fucking problem there.
Right.
True.
Johnny Marr plays small clubs and will not get on stage for $5 million with Morrissey.
Turd. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a good place to end it. Fuck Morrissey. Justin, where can we find you?
Justin, give us the label, give us the band, give us all the
Dune Altar, dunealtar.com. ALTAR, like an altar that one would pray at, but anyway.
But not.
Which I probably misspelled when I sent that email to you today. So.
That's exactly what happened.
That's what happens when you barely get through high school.
And ancestors, I don't know, Google.
Google. I don't know. Google.
Don't just listen to it on Spotify.
No, there's some really cool shit coming up on Dune Altar. The sound tribute, a single by an LA singer called Caress. She did a Patti Smith cover that's pretty rad.
Dude, your sister is very good.
My sister is very good, and I play in her band, Isla June.
We didn't talk about that at all, but damn.
Isla June. Isla, like an island, ISLA. I highly recommend checking her out. She is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Lungs. We've got some really cool shit coming out on Dune Altar by the Lungs.
I've booked them a few times.
We need to talk about them.
We've talked about it.
And we're going to continue
for a couple of years.
Yeah, there's a Lungs connection with Tongue too.
Yes,
Rob,
because
is super
because the Tongue,
the brother did
Tongue is right above the Lungs. The Lungs are right here.
The connection is very, very close.
Yeah, it's technically
Tongue and Lungs do have a connection.
It's
sometimes
physically
tongue gets
very
in the way of the lungs and you die.
And the sound tribute. So yes, there's some really rad shit coming out on my label, and I'm really excited about it. And it's been a cold year for Dune Altar, so I'm stoked to the benefit, the compilation, and all the proceeds are going to a nonprofit benefiting mental health.
What is the can you tell us the nonprofit? It's
called Painted Brain. They are an arts-based mental health nonprofit. And they do outreach, school stuff. They have all kinds of really awesome programs, and a huge outreach mailing list. So they're in touch with a lot of the mental health issues in Los Angeles, it's a pretty rad organization.
Yeah, it's something. Next time you come on, I want to talk about that stuff. I know. We've had long conversations about it, but
whatever. We all bullshit because we've known each other for too long.
Fucking A, man. Yeah. So a couple housekeeping things. Finally, the iTunes. After weeks of battling with iTunes, you can finally find the shit and the podcast. You can listen to all the audio on all the podcast formats: Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, all that shit. We're gonna start asking for. If you're bored, man, go on there, rate it, review it. It helps us.
Go rate it and review it.
Yeah, John wants to be bigger than Joe fucking Rogan.
I want to be bigger than Joe Rogan.
Yeah, good luck.
I'm gonna rate it and review it.
I will also. I don't know.
We're gonna be having some shirts, some merchandise and shit here in the near future. So tune in for all that. All right, guys, love you.
Love you guys.
Thanks, guys. Love you guys.
Thank you, bud.